Hello, everyone. Welcome to our SPI webinar in collaboration with Ansell. Let me introduce myself. I'm Amélie Leduc. I'm a marketing advisor here at SPI. Happy to see you on this Thursday, where we're going to be talking about hand protection and how to find your best protective equipment. For those who may be joining our webinar for the first time, let me introduce you quickly to SPI. Basically, what we do at SPI is we have the mission to be the single most valuable partner for companies that do value health and safety in their work environment. And how do we carry out our mission is basically by offering expertise, consulting services, training services, as well as selling PPEs in the different risk categories that you see on your screen. Um, to discuss this matter today, I have the privilege of being accompanied by two of Ansell's specialists, so Adam Butler and Pascal Roberge. So we'll turn on our webcam so you guys can see there's real people behind the camera. Hi, Adam. Hi, Pascal.
Hello.
How are you?
Great. Thanks, Emily.
Good. I'm keeping
Thank
my
you.
mask because I do have my colleague Audrey here, our new marketing coordinator. She's joining, she's observing the webinars that we're doing as she will be taking over shortly. How is it? How is it over there? How is it at your? I guess you're at your house. If I look at the the background.
Yeah, we're both in the office, our home offices today, so it's windy but quiet here in Ontario,
Okay.
and yeah,
And for me,
doing
and for
great.
me here in Quebec, it's cold and it's overcast.
I think when you say cold, Pascal, you our colleagues or our friends from Saskatchewan or Alberta may be saying, "Oh, you do not know what
Yeah,
cold means." Maybe that's what they're
Uh,
thinking. I know one of
that's
my
correct.
colleagues is on the call right now, and when I went there, it was minus 46 or something
It's
in
true. Yeah.
Saskatchewan. So,
ooh.
but yes, for us it's cold. I hear you completely. So thanks for being with us today. Basically, what is it exactly that you guys do at Ansell? We'll start with you, Adam.
So I look after industrial sales manager for Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada.
Okay. And
And
what about you,
and
Pascal?
and for me, I'm the territory manager for the region of Quebec. So I assist people like you or distributor like you, Amelie, like at SPI, and other end user like to selecting like the best PPE for their employee.
Good. So we'll be talking about the Ansell Guardian program. So we'll turn off our webcams because that's not who you
Okay.
want to see. It's probably the presentation, but we just want to say a quick eye. All right. Okay. So maybe Pascal, you want to introduce what we're going to be discussing today briefly?
Adam, do you want to
Oh, I
take
said
that on?
Adam. Sorry, I said Pascal.
Sorry. Yeah, so we're going to be covering some new business realities throughout the country. We're we're going to look into and dive into introduction to Ansell Guardian. We'll also review Chemical Guardian, and then just review a case study that will dive into some of the advantages of looking at Ansell Guardian.
Great. So maybe a bit of housekeeping before we start. Basically, this webinar will last for about 60 minutes. So you have the chance to ask all of your questions through the question box on your console. So you can ask your question as we go along or keep it for the end. It's up to you, but however, if it's pertinent to this slide, then we'll gladly answer it. If it's a more specific question, then you may want to send it through the question box as well, but we may be answering those on more of a personal level. But anyhow, if you're wondering something, someone else might be, so don't be shy and just ask away. Also note that the webinar will be available for rebroadcast. We will send you the link tomorrow. So if you want to share it with your colleagues, or if you want to watch it again at some point because you missed some important information, by all means. However, the PowerPoint will not be available. So if you need to take notes, then grab a pen and a piece of paper right now. I think it says it all. So I guess we can start with the business realities, Adam.
Thanks, Emily. So with COVID-19 occurring, we've seen a lot limited face-to-face meetings. Um, really we've noticed in historically we do a lot of our work directly with our distribution and the end users. We've in a lot of cases there's protocols and procedures that limit face-to-face meetings and assessments. We've got a highlighted awareness on PPE protocols to protect the workers and stopping the spread of COVID-19. So we've really seen that expansion, and some of the impacts that has is really driven up supply of single-use gloves. PPE costs is skyrocketing. Uh, Basically, the demand is outweighing the ability to supply, and really we haven't seen a true bounce back, and it's looking for that we've got this going to happen for some time, and really a focus on maximizing the longevity of the PPE. So we're going to address today um, some of the initiatives that Ansell has and how we're addressing these to our premier key end users. Some of the things that we have noticed when we looked at our partner customers is there's expanded cleaning and sanitation processes and protocols. What we're doing to address these is, and we'll dive into it, is we're leveraging Chemical Guardian really to ensure that we've got the most suitable PPE solutions, for the most appropriate product for these sanitation and cleaning products that we're seeing in the marketplace. We're looking, and customers are looking at comprehensive hygiene planning. So the processes in a lot of ways and protocols have changed. We're seeing a requirement really for support in a training and education component of this, and a lot of this is also driven, Ansell being actual manufacturer, that we corporately we work and have recognized some best practices when it comes to these hygiene planning. There's a heightened environmental and sustainability awareness. We're seeing in a lot of cases really a focus on how do we, utilize and capitalize on expansion of life, but also ensure that we're reducing the overall footprint when it comes to the environmental impact of the PPE. Greater focus on supply chain security. So we're really working with and understanding, being a manufacturer of product, that we're looking at the most reliable distribution, but also an increased focus on both distribution partners and manufacturer partners to ensure that we are seeing continuous supply for our customers who have historic relationships, and really more attention to PPE product quality. We're seeing in some cases, whether or not it be product that's coming in with reduced standards. So we're really focusing and having attention to very high global standards when it comes to that product quality, and ensuring that we maintain that with our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we move on, we go further, Adam, we will ask our audience to answer this interactive question. Well, actually, we have a few for you today in order to get to know our audience. So, at what stage is your COVID-19 protection program? So, I guess we're assuming you guys have one, but at this point, a lot of people do have a COVID-19 protection program because, it's mandatory. And so, but you may not have one, and that's a possibility. So A, B, C, D, you don't have a COVID protection program in place. You're just starting to investigate for a program. You've started a program, but you may need help with assessments and recommendations, or you've just completed a program. So we'll give you a few seconds for us to know what who are we speaking to today, basically. We'll give you a few seconds. Any guesses on which will be more popular, Adam?
I think the great majority will have procedures and protocols in place at this time. So I think we'll see a good chunk of the audience having programs in place and really trying to refine it.
Well, there you go. You're right.
Oh,
80/20.
good.
So I guess we have the rule. Yeah. So still 20% don't have a COVID protection program. So that's interesting, but a lot of them just completed a program. Another question we have for you, our audience. What elements are deficient in your hand and body protection program? Is it injury protection prevention, sorry? Is it cost reduction when talking about product performance? Is it standardization, SKU reduction, none of the above, or all of the above? And actually, you may be picking A and B as well. Multiple choices are possible. So again, we'll give you a few seconds to answer. Mhm. Interesting. 5 more seconds. Good. So we'll see on your screen. So 30% cost reduction for product performance. Standardization is another deficient element. And all of the above is pretty much the answer here, which includes injury prevention. So are you surprised again, Adam?
Well, I think if we would have done this a year ago, you might see we might have seen more of the injury prevention and injury reduction on. But I mean, it makes a lot of sense when it comes to the cost reduction because of some of the the new procedures and PPE costs being escalated. That the
Hmm.
really more of a focus on that overall cost reduction, and then all of the above.
Yes, interesting. So the last but not the least, regarding your company's injuries, what percentage are related to hand or arm injuries? So you see the numbers on your screen. You may not have any hand or arm injuries, which would be great to see. But pick between A, B, C, D, E, and again, we'll give you a few seconds. In our previous webinar, Pascal, you had mentioned that you thought it would be, or Stefan had mentioned, 25 to 50%. Pascal, what would be your guess this time around?
Knowing what happened an hour ago, I would say like probably between 35 and 45%.
Okay.
We'll see if your audience, the English speaking audience, is the same as the French speaking audience.
Oh, we'll see if there's a war between the.
Yeah, sometimes there is a
um,
difference.
yeah, 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 absolutely. Having lived in out west myself for a few years, there's definitely a difference. All right, so the results are in. See, 80% between 1 and 25%. So we were wrong. I guess Western Canada is safer. I shouldn't say that because I'm from Eastern Canada, but I
That's
guess, yeah.
excellent, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you surprised by those results, Adam, or?
Um, with the level of focus, yeah, I really did think it was going to be that next 25 to 50. I'm really happy to see that. Um, and companies are taking safety really seriously, and
Yeah.
so I mean that trend and is an excellent one.
Good. All right. Thanks, everybody, for taking part in those interactive questions. So we'll continue with some interesting statistics, Adam.
Yeah, so when you look at lacerations, it really is a, a key focus on what drives injuries, and hand protection really being um, the number one injury. So when you look at what lost time injuries cost our workers, I mean, first of all, for worker morale, and it's the best practice is always keeping our workers safe. But there's also a financial impact when it comes to that. So lost time injury in Canada, it's $7,500. Hand injuries, 9% of all lost time claims. Cuts on average account for 6 lost working days. Having a son just entering the workforce, this was, 50 young workers are injured every day in
Mm,
Ontario.
yeah.
So, which is an important conversation, and 70% of workers who got injured were not wearing gloves. So, really, some interesting statistics that really drive the importance of keeping our workers safe. and that is always our focus and prime objective.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which segues nicely into, I mean, first of all, Ansell is a safety company. So every day we more than 15,000 people in 55 countries design and manufacture products. So we are the manufacturing, and we're proud of and stand behind the product. And when you look at some of these metrics of keeping, the reoccurring theme is really keeping workers safe. So manufacture 10 billion plus gloves per year, over 100 new styles, and protects more than 10 million workers each day. And everybody at Ansell is really, really proud of that.
And you've got some 8 dimensions of differentiation, which is pretty interesting, Adam. Can you
Yeah, and
summarize that? Yeah.
yeah, some of the real focus. So when you look at really what separates or differentiates Ansell is, and some of the key factors here that I'm going to talk about is really industry leading customer intimacy. So when we get into to the Ansell Guardian, we've done over 15,000 Guardians now, globally. And so we've got a lot of experience when it comes to and intimate knowledge of, applications, and really companies understanding what some of the pain points are from different verticals, or in different companies. And we were able to gather that information based on these assessments that we've done throughout the world. um, Broadest product range and best innovation capability. So again, when we talk about we are actually the manufacturer of the products, the great majority of products that we sell. And some of the things that, especially at this moment in time, when you're seeing whether or not it be fraudulent product or product not meeting the actual claims, or compliance. We've got a full team of regulatory and compliance team that that really is focused on understanding by marketplace what value and what industry standards there are. Um, and this is all based on Ansell's we're the most advanced materials science company. So when it comes to research and development, and when it comes to that team, we've got a team of over 150 employees that are just driving that advancement of and pushing the limits of our science behind our products, and world-class manufacturing and engineering capability. So we truly are the masters of our destiny when it comes to, right from working with the raw materials to manufacturing, and then supply chain as well.
And now you'll introduce us to the Ansell Guardian.
So Ansell Guardian is a consultative service to help customers select and implement the right personal protective equipment solution. So what it does is basically is improve safety, increase productivity, and reduce the overall cost of ownership. Our team is dedicated to deliver optimal solutions, ensure successful change implementation, and that's going to be a really important theme, because as we go on, hand PPE is very personal to the worker, and that successful change implementation, whether or not it be through the training process, um, or even the pilot test process, will explain exactly how that helps our customers. So what does it deliver? So, and who are the targets, and who do we work with on a daily basis, and impact when it comes to Ansell Guardian? On a health and safety perspective, how it impacts is we've been able to reduce injuries by 65%. And again, this is all data coming from our over 15,000 Guardians that we've done globally, reducing 6,400 major recordable injuries, and then also looking at the driving of out of non-recordable injuries. So it also aligns very well on the side of, often health and safety and procurement will have conflicting objectives. You'll look at on the procurement side, what really drives the overall cost. So we've been able to decrease product styles, as well as decrease products by 25%, and then decrease SKUs by 10%. So we're looking at working together to really drive those costs out. And then, when it comes to the senior leadership side of things, is the overall objective is, again, always the safety component, but then, having a positive impact on the P&L that will drive out cost of the organizations, which is never more important than now with some of the escalating PPE requirements and costs.
Yes.
So scalability, when we operate in more than 55 countries, and where that really helps is, again, is a true understanding of either companies and some of the different pain points or issues that they might have. So it's an understanding of those requirements, as well as that level of experience of being able to perform this analysis through a lot of different markets, but also a lot of different segments, and just having a real understanding of what these applications and hazards are.
Yes, and how the Ansell Guardian can help. Very
So
interesting information there.
yeah, so what we're looking at, really, what drives costs as it pertains to hand and body protection, and this was something Ansell's been in business over 150 years, and we've got intimate relationships and with our end user customers, and so when you look at driving out costs, we developed these cost drivers. So if you look at injury prevention, basically, let's reduce those injuries. Contamination, so avoidance of costs associated with product and cross contamination. Um, Overall cost reduction. So we're going to analyze and benchmark exactly, for instance, what your PPE costs are and consumption is right now, and then analyze, based on pilot test procedures, what the potential savings is, and then benchmarking and tracking it. Standardization. We see a lot of, whether or not it's customers with multi sites or even one site, that there's a lot of it could be a migration or influx of product that we're looking to simplify the overall program and drive that compliance. Always looking at SKU reduction. When the programs become convoluted, and in some cases you have product with the exact same performance characteristics over multiple applications with many different products. So we really want to try to drive that reduction and simplification of a program where it makes sense. Controls, looking at how companies either dispense, we've had experience where they'll have employees running to get product in a laundry area, and through analysis we looked at this costing them $27,000 just by that process. The training component is very, very important when it comes to compliance of a program, but also getting the employees involved and being able to train and teach, so it has an impact on the procurement side, but also on driving compliance on the safety side. And then productivity and waste reduction to improve the output through waste elimination, and which is very, very important. So what exactly is when you look at what the process is looking at? So the very first, when we have connection with our distribution and our end user partners, is we're looking at establishing a really clearly defined objective. From there, we're looking at, based on that objective, we're collecting data. So that could mean if it's an injury reduction priority, then we're looking at injury data, lost time data, and collecting that to put into our software benchmark what that is, or if it's a cost performance, we're looking at, what is the overall consumption, and really to analyze potential improvements. The next step, which is the step that historically the plant assessment. So this is where we're outlining and drafting what the actual floor plan or map is of the site or within the facility, and then we're breaking it out by application. The initial report of findings. So once we're able to get that and really have an understanding of what the job tasks are, what the critical application factors are, so hazards, then we're coming back with how we're proposing that we're going to achieve the overall initial objective. Then once we do that, we start the validation testing phase. This is where, and this is part of the process of change management. So we're really focusing in on collecting the data and doing it in a very strategic test method, rather than just throwing out product onto the floor on the site and then hoping that we were able to. So we put a lot of, on our end, a lot of focus in how we collect that data. Once we have that, and if we've achieved what the original objective is, then we look at the implementation process, which would be forecasting, creating glove boards of that nature, and then expansion, and then continuous improvement. It's important to notice that one of the things that we do as well is we benchmark, but then associate timelines to looking at the 6 month to a year down the road. Is the program that we've implemented, is it achieving the original goal, and is there potential for continuous improvement?
And then we talk about you talked a bit about change management, and that's probably something that has been that's been a challenge for everybody, you know.
Yeah, and
in-
that's the real focus is right there. Exactly, is that change implementation and management process. It is very personal to people. And then one of the things we just wanted to talk about is it really is when it talks about what is the difference between a historic or a competitor's audit. So we interact within our software to really be able to have that change management process, and we take on the great deal of the heavy lifting when it comes to this, as well as looking at overall P&L benefit, and then being able to create a business plan based on what we did to understand and then to implement the program. There's a few different, when it comes to and we talk about scalability. So there's several different. It can be as simple as a product guardian, where you have a problem application, or say you have a product in an area where the consumption is very high and you want us to look at that, right into a business guardian where we're interacting right across our all our modules within the software, and then chemical guardian. So really those are the two, um, business guardian and chemical guardian, where we have a lot of focus, and that's where we interact with most of our customers, is in those modules.
So then you're going to be going into more detail with the Ansell Chemical Guardian.
Yeah, so when you look at exactly, and one of the things that we've noticed is, not, for instance, not all chemicals listed on are on the chemical chart. So if you look at just having the historic, back in the day, Ansell would publish a chemical chart, and one of the um, one of the disadvantages of that is when you're combining mixtures and different components within the chemicals makeup. Um, so also part of it was just, how do you understand the difference between permeation and degradation? So with the chemical guardian, we're really able to simplify and address all these different concerns in a way that makes a lot of sense and creates the chemical hand program for our customers. And just to touch on as well is it's more than just the hand protection. So Ansell also has a very in-depth range of chemical suits, right down from white disposable suits to level A product and everything in between. So we've got the broadest range of products in the marketplace.
Sorry, the slide wasn't changing.
No problem. So if you look at exactly how we're creating a chemical chart specifically based on what your corporation, what your company's chemicals that you're using. So if you look on the left-hand side, it will say the CAS number, chemical name, and then percentage. So what we're doing is we're able to create, in the middle is an example of by whatever mixtures or whatever chemicals you have, we're going to be able to break down of your hand protection and your body protection, what the permeation time is, so breakthrough detection time, as well as permeation time by the minute.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time switching the slides.
Yeah, and
Sorry
so
about
this, yeah, it's okay. So this is just a more in-depth view of what we'll be able to present after we collect the chemicals. So a normal day, our team would input this into our software, and then we'll have combinations. We'll have either automatic reports that are generated. If there's very complex chemicals or mixtures, it goes to we've got different sites throughout the globe that we have our scientific team that would be able to work and present this type of documentation to really drive into an understanding of what the best hand and body protection is based on what what applications you have. So it's really important that we have an understanding, and we like to connect with our customers to understand what the needs are, but then also have the chemical data to back it up.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. You just enter the CAS number and then it tells you exactly
Yeah, and I think we have a resource of over 20,000 different chemicals, and then also our chemical team. This is an example when you look at the science behind. We're going to talk about a couple of the reports. So what we do once we're able to conduct the Guardian and come with an actual financial business plan to look at how we're going to save money. So on the left hand side is just doing a cost performance analysis chart, but then we will do a full breakdown of things like cost performance savings, what the injury savings would look like, sterilization and laundering analysis. So within our software, we're able to provide the reporting that really helps companies understand how we're going to, and at the bottom, it'll show, what the potential total savings are for the organization.
Very interesting.
So when we look at how do you choose a product? So when we're doing the assessment, we're breaking down exactly what the critical application factors are and what the safety risks are. But there's a lot as well when it comes to performance risks. So if you look at we'll create spider charts, both of what you'll notice within the green dotted line, what the solution is going to provide, but also what the application requirements. So in the blue area is what the requirement of the application would be. So that would be the dexterity, the dry grip, flexibility, oil grip, and wet grip, so that we're able to determine exactly what the need is and then how we're going to benefit even prior to doing the pilot test. So this is putting really science behind why we're testing product. So when you look at experience and expertise when it comes to what has changed in the COVID world, and when we look at the steps of Guardian, one of the things is access to the site. So what we've learned from this is there's a lot of technology that that we can utilize through looking at applications, whether or not be bringing in an iPad or your phone. And we've also utilized a lot of experience. So this just gives a little snapshot of what our software would look like, but also looking at the experience. If you go down, this was a large construction project that we had done, that's able to break down what the critical application factors are for pipe fitters, scaffolders, electricians, cladders, crane and rigging. So, and we've got really based on almost any application or within any vertical or industry, we've got experience, and we've broken down successful projects that we've done. So we talked about the change management process. So we wanted to talk exactly what the steps, but what we do to ensure that we get really good data back when it comes to this. So first of all, we're going to identify the pilot test group. We've done it can be a select or a very large group that we've done, but really important to as well review the process. So that is, when you look at trying to obtain worker compliance, but also buy-in into why we're actually testing the product. So we're going to fit and give information sessions with employees. So it's really important that they understand what the initiative is all about, that they have a say, and that they understand that the collecting good data is really going to arm us to be able to provide them with the most suitable and the safest PPE. We're going to do a lot of we'll do all the gathering of the feedback and work with our end user customers to look at what exactly do they like about it. So again, it's not just a pass or fail. We're going to be able to provide really solid data of how that test, what the overall percentage of feedback is, but also longevity, and then we'll collate all that to really establish what those measurables are.
The pilot test, again, strategic.
Yeah, and this is just an example how we'll come back and really look at what the overall test results. This is an example of, within an automotive customer that we worked with, that we're able to show 78% overall worker buy-in. So that basically they like the tested glove better than the other product, but also really importantly is the glove longevity, is being able to establish in this case how many shifts or how long the current product versus the pilot tested product would last, to establish that cost performance and overall savings. And we can manage that through either digital or just collecting feedback sheets, and then establishing that through our software to get a really solid look of what that longevity, but also what they like or don't like about it. And when it comes to part of the change management process, what we've done is once we were able to, in the training component, we'll create things like glove boards or onboard packages. In this case, this would be an example of a glove board that we would generate. Basically, we can customize these based on what the findings are, and we're able to really. It has a couple different implications when you have this. For example, an area that you might not need cut resistance, you don't want to have it could impact procurement by, if you get a migrating product that is, high expensive, high cut product in an area that doesn't need, but it travels the other way. It has safety implications as well, where you want to ensure that the right level of protection and the right glove is identified, and we'll break it down by job task and application.
The visual looks good, the graphics and everything, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, and so really, when we talk about leveraging that expertise, this is just a few examples of markets that we historically Ansell's that we focus on and that we work within, and we've got template guardians within these applications. I mean, the best case scenario is that we're able to get in and see and really look and understand what the job tasks are. But whether or not it be food processing, chemical or automotive. So this just gives an understanding of where we interact on a daily basis, and that we're able to help with some of our expertise in those.
So we're moving into the case study.
So one of the things that I wanted to address we talked about, we keep on mentioning about shortfalls and when it comes to single-use PPE, and one of the things versus which is a global number, that there currently is a shortfall in the area of $280 billion of single-use gloves. So one of the case studies that we wanted to talk about was single-use to reusable or mechanical, internally what we call. So this customer was well-known Canadian janitorial company, premier provider of commercial cleaning services, over 70 sites across the country, and 60 plus years of experience, and a fair size. So we're looking at 3,000 employees that is serving the retail, education, commercial, and hospitality industry. So the main objective at this point was to protect staff in a short supply of single-use gloves, to limit expense increase of single-use gloves, with the driving cost is really, looking at what, implications can we have to drive that cost out, but also really use that PPE where it absolutely is required. So in this case, what we were looking at is, and we've done a full calculator that can help our customers to really understand what the potential is for savings. So in this case, it was a mechanical glove, standard nitrile glove. This is one of our most popular products globally. We're looking at a cost per pair of $3, and one of the processes was very simple laundering process of employees, just as if you were to wash your hands. And we've got a full scale when it comes to laundering. We've got details on all our products, but what we wanted to do is extend the life. So we saw an extension of the life of this glove for applications like the gentleman in the picture is doing for cleaning, whether or not it be mopping or it be um, just doing some light washing or sanitation. And they really wanted comfortable and breathable products. So we're able to show what is driving to be a total annual savings of 216K. The focus of what we've done, and we continue to leverage that success and having these conversations of, let's ensure whether or not, besides it being in this case a janitorial company, but there's this initiative stands true in areas of industrial or other applications where there's new cleaning protocols, and where they can, in this case, driving the single use focus on areas of, like, for instance, sanitation of washrooms and things of that nature, and reduce where they really, it's not a critical need. So this has been a success in this case.
Definitely.
If I may add, Adam, just for our audience, like to know, the feedback we received from the pilot testing that we've done, like, was really key, like in determining like this $26 saving per month for each employees. And also, like, it was through the pilot survey that we did, and we found that the employees were using or were liking more the products because of the breathability and the comfort of the glove itself. So here again, like the point I want to drive is just like the uh, the pilot testing like is key in terms of determining or in terms of getting feedback to adjust like the solutions to the end user. So that's what I like about the Guardian approach as well.
Yeah, thanks, Pascal. Good point.
So we do have a few questions pending, but I before we get to those questions from our audience, I want to ask, well, we want to ask if directly if we can help you. So would you like SPI and Ansell to help you identify the right gloves for the different job tasks, including chemical handling? Would you like us to help you reduce the cost of purchasing gloves or and reduce injuries? Standardize your glove program or all of the above? So you may pick more than one answer, so if you want our help, then just it's your time to let us know. We'll give you a few seconds to respond. That will be our last interactive questions for today. And we do have a few questions, interesting questions from our audience. So we'll take a few minutes after. We still have 14 minutes left. So we'll take a few minutes to cover the questions. All right. Thank you so much for your response. Okay, so questions. Adam and Pascal, we do have a question. So we're wondering, Catherine is wondering, when is the best time to conduct a guardian assessment?
Well, I think it's I think there's it really depends on the customer needs, like where they are in their in terms of safety and in health and safety in their plan. But one thing I would say, because it's kind of a difficult questions like to answer, but one thing I would say is the best time like to get a guardian done is before an incident or an accident has been done, like before like an injury has been done. So most of the companies that reach out to me because some minor injuries have been has occurred, and I think like uh, um, they could have prevented it like if they had done the guardian before.
Yeah, upper risk management instead of.
Yeah, be a bit more proactive.
Proactive, yeah, excellent point.
All right, another question we do have from Nathan is, does hold on. Okay, does Ansel have procedures for cleaning or sanitizing PPEs in order to reuse them?
Adam, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so we've got a full. So thank you, Nathan. We definitely have a full sanitation plan. So washing instructions, but also hand hygiene. We've got a lot of experience. Ansel has a very large medical division as well, where we've got experience within those critical areas. So we've got flip chart. Um, Literature that we're able to provide that will really address all those standardization and care of these products.
All right. Hope it answers your question, Nathan. I do have another one from Jen. Can a guardian assessment be done in remote regions? I'm assuming, Jen, you're northern Canada, so can is it possible, Adam?
Yeah, so we basically we've done right up from diamond and gold mines. A lot of this is what one of the things that we did find was use of technology really helps in especially in the remote areas. So if we're able to look at the applications and then be able to understand what the needs are, we can definitely formulate that, or we can come in person. So um, we go to remote areas when possible and when the company's procedures and protocols allows, we'd love to do it.
Okay. All right. I do have one more question, but by all means, if you have other questions, don't be shy. If you're wondering it, someone else may be wondering it as well. Ryan is asking, what is the associated cost and responsibility of the end user when a guardian assessment is done?
So This is a consultative service that we provide to our key customers. So the cost generally is the way we speak about it is the cost is really providing information and just being able to accommodate whether or not it be virtually or the actual facility walkthrough. But this is a service that Ansell provides to its customer free of charge. And when we look at this, a lot of the heavy lifting, as we mentioned before, is really putting together the actual reporting. So it's very little work or time that it takes, and it's very scalable, as we mentioned.
Hmm. Hope it answers your question, Ryan. Um, I don't have any question at this time, so I will move on with the presentation. But if anybody else has questions, by all means, just stop me and ask away. Um, as mentioned before, if you do have more specific questions, maybe you'd like a one-on-one, you have a question more about your reality, you can reach us at marketing at spi-s.com. We'll transfer you to Adam, Pascal, or your local rep. You can also contact the phone number on your screen. Um, we are also on the web. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, and we do have a blog on our website where we add very interesting expertise article. In fact, we do have one from the Ansell Guardian program, which we did last year, I think. So that article is on there. So join us, follow us, and you'll receive all kind of information. Well, maybe there won't there maybe there will be a question. We still have 9 minutes, so don't be shy. But in the meantime, I want to thank you, Adam and Pascal, for your time today for presenting the Ansel Guardian program and what this is about.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure, and thank you, Emily, for allowing us your time.
Always. I also want to thank Rico, our my tech friend here in the back end of all this. He's the one answering questions when you guys have issues or whatnot. So thank you very much, Rico, for helping out. Thanks, Audrey, for joining me today. Um, since we don't have more questions, we'll finish a little earlier. So thanks everybody for participating. Thanks for joining in the interactive questions. And again, we want you to fill out our survey. We are actually planning our webinar schedule for next year. And just so you know, with all of the surveys we've gathered over the past year, we were able to get more than 125 different topics that you guys would like to us to address. So your input is very important as this is how we create our schedule for the upcoming years. So take a few seconds to answer, and we'll very much appreciate it. So, on behalf of SBI and Ansel, I wish you a great day and most importantly, be safe. Bye now.
Thank you all.
Thank you.